Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite podcast, Stop the Internet Podcast. I'm your host, Kelee.
I'm Tricia.
And today we're talking about crazy exes.
Ooh.
I guess we should still do the fact thing, right? The get to know you.
Yeah, I was going to say you need to share fun facts.
Okay. So Tricia and I just spent 2 hours plus talking before we actually got to recording. And one of our last conversation topics was snowboarding and skiing in Colorado. So this will be my fact. I love snowboarding and I want to go to Colorado this winter. So we'll see if it actually happens.
Yeah. Okay, now I don't know a fun fact about myself. That was good.
Oh, thank you.
And you thought of it so quickly.
I know. Well, it was on top of the mind.
Yeah. I don't know. Fun fact for me, I guess, is that I'm right in the middle of 5 kids. I have an older brother, older sister, younger brother, younger sister. So I have one of each.
Yes.
So that's fun.
Wait, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
The fact that you have one of each on each side.
Yeah, and I'm the only one that has one of each.
Wow.
Wait,
that's a
yes,
good...
like older and younger is what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a good fact.
Yeah.
Oh, love that. Okay. So you would probably have good insight on family drama when it has to do with siblings and big family stuff.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe we'll record that one.
Oh, true. I would love that.
Well, love that. Okay. Should we jump into ex drama?
Yes.
Here we go. First up, I check my ex's and his girlfriend's page every now and then to see if he's treating her the way he treated me. So like the title says, I check their pages to see if they're still together, even after 2 years since we broke up. He's openly narcissistic and admits to it, but I can't fathom that he would ever be able to treat any girl the way he should treat them. After what he did to me, he should technically be in jail for threatening harm. I'm probably one of the only girls he's ever been with who ever helped him try to achieve his goal of financial freedom, which ultimately failed on his own doings. He knows I'm an artist and knows I love art and recently went to an art museum with his new girlfriend, which he doesn't and wouldn't do because nothing in his life associates with art. He plays mostly video games, smokes weed, and goes to work and plays on his laptop. He's also spoiled to the point that he thinks he deserves everything to be handed to him. For instance, the reason he failed with his financial goals is because he put his credit card under Facebook ads and forgot about them, resulting in him being $5,000 in debt. He expected me to help him pay for his fuck-ups. Over the years, I'd ask him for money to help with groceries and some other bills, and he would go off on me. So eventually, I stopped asking him for money, and I told him, I'll remember this when something happens to your finances and you need my help. I'm not giving you a single penny, and I'll watch you suffer and struggle like you made me do when I needed you. Okay. Also, one single time out of our entire relationship, he cried. And when I tell you he cried, there were no tears running down his face. And I'm like, yeah, you want to fake shit, but when I'm actually over here bawling my eyes out because you're treating me like shit, you don't give a fuck. So therefore, I don't give a fuck either. He stopped crying a few seconds later and started watching comedy shows and ignoring me, which I was completely fine with because I'm not about to be manipulated into doing something you want me to do, but you can't even keep up with your stick in the relationship. So yeah, I'm just praying that his new girlfriend, whom he got the day after I left, doesn't go through the same thing that I did because nobody deserves that. Wow, this is heavy.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not think it was going to go there when I read the title.
Right.
I was thinking that she was going to be jealous if he treated the new girl better.
Right.
But I don't think that's the case.
Right.
I think she should stop looking at their Facebook pages because even if he's treating her better, it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with you. And you constantly checking up on them and trying to figure out the status of their relationship based off of Instagram posts is not going to give you the information that you need or want. I think you just need to take a deep breath and say thank you next and move on.
Yeah. Sounds like you dodged a bullet too. So just,
Yes.
Be happy that you're out of that relationship. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. He seems like a terrible, immature person that nobody deserves. So I feel bad for the new girl. But also, when I went through a breakup in the past, I was also thinking about this. I'm like, oh, I just wish that he would be like this to me and like do these things for me. And now he's going to get to do those things to another girl. And one of of my friends was like, sure, maybe he will treat the next girl better than he treats you, but that's just life. He learned from your relationship and he went on and is treating the next person better, but you're going to do the same thing. And that's also going to happen to you. So the next person you encounter, they had a relationship in their past that made them a better person. And that's just how life works. And that's why the universe gives us different relationships throughout our lives. And the person that you end up with is going to be the best version of themselves because of all the relationships that they went through and learned from. And I was like, wow, that is life-changing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's comforting.
You should treat her better. And the next person you date should treat you better than he did. I also saw a TikTok where a girl was like, to all the girls that my boyfriend dated in the past that made him into the person he is today, you're all invited to the wedding. Thank you so much. I appreciate your service. Thanks for dealing with him when he was younger and immature. And I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Like we should taught him well.
Yeah. Like we should be thankful for the experiences they went through and not jealous of them.
That's very true. Yeah. The jealousy thing.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah. I mean, if you have an issue, like if you get jealous easily, that's a good way to think about it. Like just be thankful that he had or he or she had past relationships because you can only learn and grow from them.
And I think another thing, if you're jealous of someone in their past, it's like you had people in your past too. And like think about how you feel about them. Yeah. You don't care about them at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
You can even think about that for this new relationship. Like if he's treating, I guess OP though was kind of making sure that he wasn't treating her as shitty.
I know. Yeah.
But still, there's nothing you can do about that if he is. It's not your relationship to interfere with.
Yeah.
And whether he's treating her worse or better, you're never going to learn that from social media. So I think I think the idea there is flawed, but I'd say you're torturing yourself and try to move on as soon as possible.
Don't check up on your exes.
No. Especially if you're on bad terms with them and they did you wrong, like this guy did. My boyfriend favored his ex and lectured me. I'm about to go off on this one, so get ready. I, 21 female, have a boyfriend, 22 male, of 2 years, and we are in a long-distance relationship. At first, when we met, he was very religious and even taught me some things, which I am glad he did. Then, as the years passed, he stopped that all of a sudden. Again, no issue there. My boyfriend had an ex, we'll call her Mary, who was also his neighbor and maybe even his best friend, so their mothers were also friends. Somehow, something happened, their parents got involved, and they broke up, and sometime after, they moved away. They broke up because Mary actually blamed my boyfriend to her parents for harassing her, which is not true at all. It was her who approached him. It was her who wanted to date, and as proof, she deleted all of her chats with him and only showed my boyfriend's text to her parents to make it seem like he was harassing her. This really traumatized him. Okay, Mary seems problematic as well.
Yes.
2 weeks ago, Mary's mother visited their house, and I noticed that he was just anxious about the visit, and maybe I was just overthinking things. That day, I joked about his mother bringing up proposals for him and her daughter, and we laughed and then moved on. Today, however, he told me that day when I joked about the proposal thing, Mary was actually engaged. I joked again, and I said, thank God, though I pity the person she marries. He then said that I shouldn't say these things, God wouldn't appreciate it, and I was taken aback. I mean, the person who hasn't talked about religion for months is now lecturing me about religion. I was also upset from him the day before because of some changes towards his attitude, or maybe I was just being sensitive. I don't know, but I'm just confused. And when I told him, he is again prioritizing other things and his ex over me, and he got upset, and he never once said sorry to me. On top of that, he said, I said God because me saying I don't like you talking about her like that would have gotten you more upset. What? This just got me so upset and sad that I blocked him on everything so that I don't say things to him that I don't mean. I don't know if I'm taking things too far. I just need some advice on what to do. My father has cheated on my mother, and I have seen how he would always prioritize other things over her. I never want to be with someone who does this exact same thing to me. This is so messy.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend got upset at a comment, a joke that she made, and he said God would be upset about that. Right. And then he was like, well, I only said God would be upset because I'm actually upset. But I know if I said I'm upset, you'd be even more mad. So now we can't talk about the things that make us upset in our relationship.
Yeah. Healthy. Wow.
I'd say the whole thing is problematic. You seem uncompatible with this person because you can't even talk to them honestly. And I feel like though how do you feel about her getting annoyed that he saw his ex? Or that he doesn't, I don't know. She seems like she doesn't like the ex because he was bad to her. And then when he says, oh, don't make a mean joke about her, she's like, he's choosing his ex over me.
Yeah, I don't think the title was My Boyfriend Prefers My Ex.
My boyfriend favored his ex and lectured me.
Okay, favored his ex. I thought it was like he prefers his ex. And I was like, I wouldn't jump that far to say that this one instance like makes him like prefer his ex and all.
Or even favor the ex,
Yeah, it doesn't even really sound like he's favoring his ex right now. I think maybe he's trying to
be the bigger person.
Yeah, like not be like petty. Yeah, petty, like gossipy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, just being like more positive maybe.
Yeah.
But it's not right of him to say like, oh, I'm not going to say something because like it'll make you upset. Like that would make me mad if someone was like, oh, well, I couldn't say this to you because you would get upset about it. Like I can handle stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of insulting to say that to someone.
Agreed. I feel like that's a bigger problem than him saying, oh, don't make that joke. Because she just made a mean joke about his ex and he said you shouldn't say those things. And it's like, that's really not the biggest deal. No. Like, maybe he's on good terms with her, even though she wasn't the best partner to him when they were together. But yeah, I feel like it's not that big of a deal that he said, don't be mean, like you shouldn't say those things.
Yeah.
And then, I think the true problem is that he's telling her that God will be upset with her because he can't confront her with his actual issues.
I was gonna say that makes me think of another podcast that I listen to where they have people write in just like stories, and a frequent like just type of story that they get surrounding relationships is like, I was talking to this guy and he told me like he had a premonition from God that like I wasn't right for him. I'm like, it's just like, I don't know why men feel the need to say God spoke to them or like, I know what God wants or like, just say what you want to say. Like, why are you hiding? I don't know. Just people are so crazy.
I know. I feel like there's two reasons why that would happen. And I don't want it to seem like I'm, I don't know, hating on someone for being religious, but I feel like sometimes people can use religion as a manipulation tactic.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like saying, oh, God wouldn't appreciate that. It's like you don't need to shame someone and tell them what God would or would not want. And trying to shame someone is never going to get them to agree with you or change their actions. If anything, you should present them with something positive, like, and say, oh, well, maybe instead of talking badly about people, you can just wish them well and not say anything. Instead of saying God wouldn't appreciate that, you can just be like, oh, well, you know, she's living her life and let her go. But trying to shame someone by using religion is never going to change their mind. And then the other thing I think that could be the case is people are trying to use religion to, wait, I forget how I said it in the first sentence, but what I mean is I think sometimes people use it as a manipulation tactic to get what they want. And they say, oh, God told me that you need to do this for me. And that's a complete lie. And that person's not a good person. And then there's the other hand that it's like maybe they actually think that God did say something to them, or like that's in their brain, like God actually did say this. And if you don't agree with what they're saying, like that's equally as scary. So I don't like when people use that in relationships either. That's very scary, I think, especially if you're not the same religion. Like if you were in a relationship where you had very cohesive religious beliefs and you talked openly about it a lot, and then something came up and you were like, oh, I don't think God would appreciate these types of actions. Maybe that's different.
Right.
But when you get into a relationship with someone that doesn't share your religious beliefs and you use God as like an excuse to yell at them or disagree with them and teach them a lesson, I feel like it doesn't have the same effect that you think it does.
Right. Yeah. You're kind of just hiding behind that like shield of like, this isn't me, like this, but this is God being mad at you and I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. But in reality, it's like, speak for yourself.
Right, exactly.
It seems immature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the boyfriend is a bit immature, but I also think OP is as well, because him asking her not. And it's funny too, because she has one example of my boyfriend favored his ex. It's like, no, your boyfriend told you not to make a petty joke about his mom's friend's daughter.
Right.
It's like, who cares? Yeah. I don't know. I guess I see it this way too. I have an ex that we ended on good terms, and I don't think he's a bad person. I just think we're not compatible. And if someone that I was friends with, or I guess dating, was making dumb jokes about him constantly, I would just be like, okay, like, we don't even need to talk about him, let alone like rip him apart. Like, I just don't even care about him enough to talk about him or to make petty jokes about him.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like
moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you're making jokes about someone, you haven't healed, because if you completely heal, then you no longer care about them enough to bring them up in conversation. So maybe what the boyfriend is doing is actually healthy. He's like, let's just move on and not make the stupid petty jokes. But yeah, the issue is him being like, I couldn't have even told you that because then you would get mad at me.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you need to figure out how to communicate better, both of you.
Yeah.
It's also funny that she blocked him in the middle of this fight.
Yes. Yeah, it's like she reached and then like jumped to conclusions and kind of, I don't want to say overreacted, but she kind of went further than I would have, I guess. I don't know.
I just think it's not that deep.
Yeah.
It's like he made a joke, sure. It's not that deep.
Right.
I think that's true with a lot of things, that it's just not that deep and we don't need to be like creating. Are we gaslighting her? We're like, you don't need to be creating something out of nothing. But based off of these like 3 paragraphs, I think that it's not that deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he favors his ex.
I also don't think you have to take to Reddit to discuss this either. It just is like...
Maybe she doesn't have other friends, though.
That's true.
Yeah. Or maybe her friends are toxic. And
I'm
she was
sorry.
trying to get... Maybe she needs us as her friends.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm open to that.
Yeah.
I'll be your friend.
I think your trauma comes from your dad cheating on your mom. I'm just going to diagnose her now. And just because your dad did it doesn't mean that your boyfriend will. The true problem here is that you and your boyfriend cannot communicate in a healthy way. And that's what you should be concerned about. That's my diagnosis.
I love it. Dr. Kelee.
Oh, yeah. My ex-girlfriend, 23 female, that dumped me, 24 male, to start seeing someone else, wants to see my dog. My ex-girlfriend that dumped me almost 3 months ago after dating for over 2 years and lived together, she left to start fooling around with someone new and lied about it. She has texted me wanting to see my dog. We got the dog together when we were dating, but I paid for the dog, not cheap, and all the vet bills. By all accounts, he is my dog, and I took him when we split. She texted me about a month after we split wanting to see him, and I said that he was doing well and that I have him taken care of. Fast forward about 7 weeks, and she has recently texted me again asking to meet her and her new dog at the dog park. I asked her to state her intentions, as this is very random and a bit unfair, as she was the one that cut things off and replaced both me and my dog. I told her that I did not want to see her as it would bring up too much unwanted emotion for me, and I didn't believe it to be fair for my dog. Oh. I've always been very honest with her, even though she hasn't been with me. It's just not in my character to lie to someone I care deeply for. I also told her that she can't keep contacting me and that she made her choice and she needs to accept it. Was this attempt just to see the dog, or is there an ulterior motive here? Any advice would be helpful. My head is spinning and I would be open to having a conversation with her, but she would need to state that as her intention. I'm very guarded now and could definitely be overanalyzing. Seeing her would also bring up a lot of unwanted emotion that would not be good for me, trying to protect myself. Wow.
Very healthy boundaries.
I know.
OP. Wow.
This OP, he seems so mature.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm impressed.
Me too. The girl texts him though.
Yeah.
I think he's right about everything, and it's a bad idea to see her.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially because, like he said, she replaced me and the dog. Like, you know, like she went as far as to, like, get a new dog, too. Like, I don't know. You don't need to see the other dog anymore. You have your new dog and your new guy.
Yeah.
It's just, what would be the point? And if you just want to meet so that your dogs can play the dog park, like, I feel like you could text a friend with a dog and do that with them, not your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever this is.
Yeah, it would be her ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
I think she either has ulterior motives, which would be trying to spark a friendship with you that may lead to a romantic relationship down the road. Or maybe she just wants to see you to show you how good she's doing. Some people are into doing that. Or maybe she just is dumb and doesn't see how problematic this would be. And I maybe we'll give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she doesn't have ulterior motives.
Right.
And she genuinely is just like, ooh, maybe we can have a dog play date now that I got a dog. And it's like, no, you don't need to be friends with your ex that you cheated on and then dumped. Wait, did she? Yeah, well, he said she left to start fooling around with someone new and lied about it. So
I think, did he say that she had been seeing him while they were still dating too?
Yeah, so I guess we don't know if they were seeing each other while they were still dating, but she left him for somebody else.
Right.
I think also maybe she's not as hurt over the breakup because she made the decision to leave him and she's not the one that was blindsided about it and lied to and traumatized because she made all the decisions. So seeing you may not affect her in the way that it will affect you.
Right.
I think she might just be dumb.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like. It doesn't really sound like manipulation or like, ulterior motives.
Yeah.
She just is not aware of what she's doing.
Yeah. I think she's extremely lucky to have you, though, because you're actually giving her the time of day still and explaining to her in a mature way why this is problematic and how it affects you. It's like, does she even deserve that? Probably not. But OP, you're giving that to her. Your honesty will hopefully help her be a better person and learn. His communication is just top notch.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. Bravo.
So true. I think also when there's pets involved in breakups, it's even harder because you have two people to miss. And it's possible that she's just missing the dog and wants to see the dog. Like maybe
That's
it's just that.
Yeah.
It's that.
Which in that case, I feel for her.
Like, I know. Wait, but I love OP. He says, I didn't believe it to be fair for my dog.
I know.
He's thinking of the dog. That's so cute.
I know. The dog was probably so sad when she just didn't come home one day.
I know.
Like, don't put him through that heartbreak again. Him or her. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, don't let people use their dog, and by people I mean your ex, to manipulate you into seeing each other or getting back together or telling you that you're meant to be. I saw this TikTok that was like, if your dog falls in love with her too, she's meant for you. And I was like, that is simply not true at all, whatsoever. Your dog can love her and she cannot be the one for you still. So I would say do not make any decisions based off of the dog other than it wouldn't be fair for the dog to see her. Wow, OP though, like clap it up. You're just like killing it over there.
Yeah, king. Our king.
Today I fucked up by asking my boyfriend what his exes looked like. My boyfriend and I have been dating for a while. We actually met in 6th grade. We're both 45 now, and we recently reconnected. This morning we were talking about our exes, and I actually knew one of them, a very pretty blonde who is actually a very lovely person. He casually asked me if I'd like to see the one previous to her. Not thinking much of it, I said sure. She is absolutely stunning. Textbook bombshell, brunette, and gorgeous. Like us, Trish.
Yeah, maybe it is us.
Yeah. Actually, we don't have any 45-year-old exes.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
To be fair, I'm not an ugly woman, but I'm relatively plain. That's sad.
You're not plain.
Yeah, I have to disagree.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've let my insecurities take over and I'm really struggling. I'm a loving person and a good partner. I'm a giver and I do the very best I can to be supportive and helpful. None of that is helping my current mindset. Why on earth is this man with me when he could literally do a lot better, at least physically? I know insecurities make people less attractive and add to the inclination to project. He is also incredibly gorgeous, and I just don't know how to fix where my head is about it. I'm on the verge of walking away because I know for certainty that he can obviously do much better. He's been depressed, and I'm afraid I'm just a filler until he can move on. I love this person, and I just don't want to be hurt. Ugh. Ignorance was bliss. We should have read this in our last episode.
Oh, damn. Missed opportunity.
Yes. Wow. Okay. First thoughts.
Okay. Well, yeah. First off, I just want to say you are not plain based off of what you're saying about yourself. Like, yeah, you sound like a great person. So don't, put yourself down or minimize your good qualities here because that's not fair to yourself. And also, I just feel like to say like I'm afraid that I'm a filler, like that's not healthy for you or for him. And you just have to stop saying those things.
You shouldn't have these expectations in a relationship. And we were just talking about this before we started recording. I mentioned that I had been been talking to this guy, and he just turned out to be the exact opposite person of who I thought he was. I thought he was very trustworthy, mature, honest. And then after our very casual relationship, quote, relationship ended, I found out who he truly was. And he was not any of those things. He was not an actually very nice person or mature at all. And he had lied to me about many things. And I asked a few older friends of mine, I was like, wait, how do you figure out in your next relationship that that person isn't just crazy like the last one was? And they were like, you don't. You just have to try it and see what happens and trust people. And there's a chance that you're going to get hurt, but that's just kind of life. And it's so much easier said than done. But when you're entering these new relationships, yeah, there's a chance that you're going to get hurt. That's just how relationships work. They either work out or you get hurt. It sucks, but it's just true. So I feel like when you're in them, even though you may have gone through something traumatic in the past that changed your view of what relationships are, you really have to try to keep an open mind and expect the best and be honest with your partners. And if you feel that you can trust them, you need to trust them. And sure, like there's a chance that it might not work out. There's a chance that maybe they're not trustworthy, but you kind of just have to try it. And that's the only way you're going to figure it out. So that was my response to the, what if I'm just a filler? It's like, maybe you are a filler to him, but the only way you can figure that out is by being honest with him about your expectations. And if those expectations are met, then I think it's going to be clear to you whether or not he sees you the same way you see him. As for her insecurity, it's just so sad. That's truly just what it is. And not everything is about looks. I mean, looks are important, I guess, in some aspects of relationships, but it's not the only thing. It's far from the only thing.
Right,
and who you truly are will shine and make you even more beautiful on the outside than you already are.
Yeah. And it is interesting, like, so these women that her boyfriend dated in the past, it's not just because you are now seeing a picture of them for the first time doesn't mean they never existed until now, but like they now exist in your mind. They didn't before. Your boyfriend chose you, even with these women in his past. And just because now you know what they look like doesn't mean he is now going to leave you. But I know it's evoking these new insecurities for you, but it doesn't like mean that he's going to leave.
That is such a good point.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it like that. Like, if anything, it should almost solidify your relationship even more.
Right.
Because you're like, oh, he can, not that you're not as beautiful as them, because everyone is beautiful in their own way, but maybe you don't have their exact same looks, but you obviously have something that they don't, because he's choosing to be with you now. And you need to just get it through your head that that's enough for him and for you. But that is a great point. They have always existed. He's known about these women and their beauty since he dated them. And he still is picking you.
Yeah.
So really nothing has changed. You should just be even more glad that he's picking you over these people that meet the societal beauty standards in a different way than you do.
Yeah, but clearly, like, you're probably very valuable to him in his life. And like,
yeah.
I don't know, it seems like you have great qualities. So
yeah,
just, focus on your good qualities. Don't focus on like all of these what ifs surrounding your relationship. And like, even if you are a filler for him, it doesn't take away your value as a person, like an independent person. Yeah. And that's just a problem that is him, not you.
Yeah.
So
one of the top comments is, you can be the most beautiful woman on the planet, but if you annoy somebody, they won't want to be around you. You could be the most unattractive woman on the planet, but if you make them happy, they'll stick with you. Just be yourself, let it play out, and don't fret. I think that's kind of summing up everything that we are digging deeper into. It's like, sure, he may see you any type of way, but yeah, you're not going to know that if you end the relationship now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just going to further your insecurity. So I wouldn't break up with this guy just because you now know that his exes are pretty.
Right. Yeah.
Truly, that has nothing to do with you. So I think that's another important thing to think about in any relationship and any ex that this person might have. We should just be thankful for them because they made your current boyfriend a better person. He learned a lesson from them. They played an integral role in his life. Everything happens for a reason. We learn from all the experiences experiences we go through. And if he never dated those people, he wouldn't be who he is today. He wouldn't be the person that you love. And the same can be said for you. If you have any past relationships, if he were to be jealous of them, if he were to be insecure, what would you say to him? Would you tell him how those relationships ended for a reason? And while those men might be attractive physically, they weren't meant for you because of countless other reasons, and they weren't compatible with you. They weren't meant to be with you. And what is meant for you has found you, and that's each other. Because he will probably say the same thing to you if you're truly meant to be.
Yeah. And I mean, some people are only meant to be in our lives for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like they come in, you learn from something.
Yeah.
And then they leave. So like,
yeah,
I don't know, they probably played a role in his life and they will not return. Like they were probably meant to be in his life, and then they've, you know, played their part, and now they're done, like, for him.
Also, going off of that point, let's say you are with this person for a few months, a few years, and then your relationship does end and you move on. It didn't end because his exes are quote unquote hotter than you or more beautiful than you. Mm-hmm. Nothing that happens in your relationship going forward will have anything to do with his exes and their physical appearance. And I think that's a very important thing to remember.
Yeah, he's not making decisions based off of them.
Yeah. And if he is, then he's not meant for you. But it's still not because they're more beautiful than you.
Right.
It's just because he's not meant for you in this world.
Yeah.
And once again, we already said it, but I'm just going to say it again. He's choosing to be with you now. So don't write this story in your mind of like, oh my God, they're more beautiful, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. Like Tricia said, they have always existed. He has known about their beauty since he met them, and he's still choosing today to be with you. And that's what matters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, insecurity is so hard.
Yeah. And I feel like I can relate. Like I've, you know, had times where I'm like in a relationship and I'm like, why are you with me? Like, you know, but then it's like, no, I'm great. And you just have to remind yourself of that. And yeah, like you have value and stuff. And like a little trick that I feel like is good to remember. I don't know if this is good advice or whatever, but I feel like if you fake confidence, it eventually turns into real confidence.
Totally.
I'm a nurse, and when I like was first on my own after I was being trained, and then I was like, I finished my training, and then I was like on my own, you know, caring for patients by myself, I was so nervous. And I would have to do like procedures or do something that maybe I had never encountered, or like maybe I had done it before, but I couldn't remember how to do it. And I was like freaking out. I'm like, I'm going to mess it up. But then I would tell myself, I was like, no, like you can figure this out. You're going to go into the room, pretend you know exactly what you're doing, and you can figure it out as you go. And if you do need help, there's a million ways to call for help in a hospital.
Yeah.
So I just started like almost like faking confidence in like everything that I did. And now I'm a very confident nurse. And I just feel like in a lot of aspects of life, like if you just like fake confidence, it very quickly becomes real confidence.
Yeah. And I think part of that is because it's true. Like the things that you think about yourself, they are true, even if you don't believe them. So by telling yourself to believe them, they just almost solidify even more into fact. Like for example, when you were going into those rooms, you went to nursing school, you graduated, you have all the information, you were trained, you knew what to do in most situations. So when you go in and you're doubting yourself because you have imposter syndrome or whatever, just because it's your first day, you're a little nervous, that's okay. But you have the information, you have the value and the knowledge. So it's just reminding yourself until you believe it, because it is fact. And it's the same thing in relationships. Like if you are doubting your value and you start to tell yourself, no, I am valuable, I am a nice person, I'm a good person, I try to help people, and you tell yourself that and you continue to act on it, it's only going to solidify in your mind because it's true. It's already true.
Right.
So just keep demonstrating it to yourself until you believe it. And another thing about value, Tricia and I just had this conversation about selfish friendships. I feel like everyone has experienced friendships that are unfulfilling because maybe one person in the relationship is more selfish. And sometimes people only ask us to hang out or want us in their lives when they can benefit from it. So you could say, oh, they only text me if it benefits them. But they should be texting you all the time because your benefit to them is just you.
Yeah.
And if they can't see that just having you there and nothing else is a benefit, those maybe aren't the people that you should be spending your time with. So very deep tangent.
Yeah.
To go back to just this insecurity that even OP, like, she recognizes that she is a good partner. She said that she's a loving person. She's a giver. She tries her best to be supportive. Those are such valuable things that would outweigh physical appearance almost every single time.
Right. Yeah.
And that's your value. And that matters just as much as physical appearance. So those are amazing on top of how beautiful you are on the outside. And I think you need to just keep remembering that and stop creating narratives in your head about what if my boyfriend thinks this? What if he thinks this? If you trust this person and you actually want to be with him, you can express this insecurity to him. And I'm sure that he will remind you that nothing from his past matters. He's choosing you now. And if you don't believe it, then maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship and you need to find yourself outside of a relationship so that you can trust the people that you are in a relationship with when you're there. Yeah. Oh, these are all easier said than done. I know that insecurity is something that we all face. And it's so much easier for us to sit here and be like, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's going to take you a while to believe it. But I think you need to start believing it because it's true.
Isn't it funny that like you can like, I feel like doubt yourself so much, but the second another person starts to say something bad about themselves, and then you're like, no.
Yeah.
Like, don't say that. You're amazing.
Yeah.
But then it's like, it's easier to say stuff about like bad stuff about yourself.
Yeah. We're all our own worst critic.
That's so true.
I know. Yeah.
It's funny.
I know. I hope OP is reminded of all the good things about her. Go, OP. You're beautiful. Oh my God. I never want to know what my boyfriend's... Actually, it's like, would I even care about that?
I know.
It's like at this point, I can't imagine caring about a guy enough to be like, oh, he dated a hot girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, go off.
Right.
Like, she is fucking hot.
Yes, exactly.
And now you're mine.
Yeah.
My female 21 friend, female 20, started dating my ex, male 20. We broke up over the summer and it was quite messy. She was there for the entire process. I have no friends at my school to talk to about this. First, I lost my best friend, my ex, and now my really good friend to him. I put so much effort into my 2 degrees and I'm so close to graduating university, but now I just want to drop out and move far away. I don't know what to do anymore. OP, these people suck.
I was going to say that sucks.
They're not your people.
No, they're not your best friends
or
good friends.
First of all, do not let them affect your status in school.
Yes.
You said you've worked so hard and put in so much effort and you're so close to graduating. That's the most important thing here.
Yes. And you deserve that accomplishment in your life.
I don't know why this happened. It just fucking sucks. And sometimes in life, shitty things happen and people do us wrong and they cross us, and there's nothing that you can do about it other than remove them from your life and move on. And I feel like that's the only thing that she can do here.
Yeah.
Like, harness your anger into, or what's the word to like change your anger, or
like channel it.
Channel your anger into studying and finishing university and getting that degree, and your life will be different as soon as you're out of college. I feel like also college is a bubble.
Yes.
And things seem to matter so much while you're in college. And then as soon as you're out of college, you're like, oh my God, why did I care about that?
Yeah.
This might be a little different because this was a friend and a boyfriend, so it's not going to seem as trivial once you graduate. But I think graduating and achieving that goal is going to help your mental health overall. And getting away from college, where probably everything reminds you of the two of them, is also going to be helpful. They just suck. Yeah.
They suck. You probably did nothing to deserve that too.
True.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you definitely can't blame anyone but them.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do. Move on. People suck sometimes. I don't know. Maybe the reason why it happened is because you needed to see their true colors in a crazy way, or you wouldn't believe them. Like, maybe if the universe showed you that these people aren't right to be in your life in these minor ways, you would just keep forgiving them.
Yeah.
And then the universe knew that it needed to show you something so absurd for you to believe that these people shouldn't be in your life, and this had to be it. I don't know. That's kind of what I think about sometimes.
Yeah, if that's like what helps you, then you're not harming anyone. So
I'm sure
it's a good like explanation if you need one.
Yeah, if you need one. Yeah. I feel like I talk about the universe sometimes and I'm like, what if the universe just showed me this in this way to get me to believe this? And my one friend is like, oh yeah, maybe. Like just is so like not spiritual at all. And then I'm like, I'm just creating this like fake narrative in my head.
Yeah.
But it's a positive one. I'm like, don't create false narratives that hurt you. Create false narratives that help you. Just like the confidence. Not that they're false narratives, but the fake it till you make it with the confidence and dealing with insecurity and cutting toxic people out of your life. If you have to tell yourself a certain story to get you to choose the right path, do it.
Yeah, whatever helps you thrive in life.
Yeah.
Do it.
I always see TikToks that are like, people think manifestation isn't real. But when I lie to myself and I'm delusional and I tell myself, everyone loves me, like I'm on a winning streak, I am so lucky, I'm living my best life. So I'm like, even if manifesting isn't real, I live my best life and I'm delusional. And I'm like, I kind of agree with that. Like, even if it's not real, I'm like, it helps me today. So why not?
Yeah.
This one might be complicated. My boyfriend gave me an ultimatum to choose between him and my ex. I have a boyfriend that I've been seeing for 2.5 years. My ex is someone I have known for 6 years, and we've always been super close. After our breakup, we decided to be mature and remain friends because we share the same friend circle, and there's really no way I could avoid him. Right after our breakup, we stopped talking for almost a year and kept our distance to help the healing process and move on with our lives, and then when we were ready, become friends again. So that's what we did. I eventually met my boyfriend and fell head over heels in love, and I love him to absolute pieces and would never ever do anything to hurt him. I have a very strong moral compass, so cheating is not even a thought that crosses my mind. My boyfriend already knows this, and I also just want to add that I absolutely have no leftover feelings for my ex, as we have hung out in social situations after and I felt nothing. We can openly talk about our love lives with each other without feeling awkward, just as normal friends do. I've had conversations with my boyfriend about this because I am not someone who likes to avoid my friends for my boyfriend or anybody for that matter. Neither would I do it the other way around. My friends have helped me through really dark times and I'm forever grateful to them, including my ex. But I love my boyfriend and I'm not sure what to do because he's not comfortable with this, which I totally understand as well. He's making me choose and gave me an ultimatum. I have fucked up by having my ex over at my house without telling my boyfriend. Nothing inappropriate happened at all, but I hate the guilt of keeping it from him because I'm finding it hard to let go of anybody. They're both important to me in different ways. My boyfriend is the love of my life. My ex is my best friend. Tell me what to do.
Okay, so without much like prior thought, my first solution to this, in my opinion, would be, so I don't love the ultimatum. Like, ultimatums are, I feel like, never good, but I do think if you want to keep your boyfriend in your life and have him feel comfortable, like, maybe you do have to distance yourself from your ex a bit. And it sounds like you have a friend group, so like, he's not your only friend, like, you're not losing, like, your all of your friends. I don't know, you still have other people that will help you through hard times again. That's tough. I don't know.
I always wonder about people being friends with their ex because Jimmy kind of changed my mind on it. If you listen to, I think it was episode 2, where we talked about still being in contact with your exes or not and being friends with your exes or not. Jimmy has a lot of friends that are actually friends with their exes in a friend group setting. So maybe they don't hang out one-on-one, but they can hang out in social situations, which I don't think is a bad thing. But I find it a bit weird when people are friends with their ex in a one-on-one kind of way.
Yeah.
Because I think that sometimes, and this is not every time, I can admit that sometimes people can be friends with their ex in a platonic way. But I also think that sometimes people are friends with an ex or they're friends, quote unquote, with a guy that maybe ghosted them and came back into their lives. And they're like, oh, well, I don't want to date you because you're problematic, but we can be friends. Or if you have a crush on somebody and they're like, oh, I don't like you back. You're like, oh, well, let's just be friends. I think that sometimes in our minds, whether we do it on purpose or it's subconscious, this friendship that you see with them is not a genuine friendship. It's an excuse to keep them in your life in some way or another. And having them in your life as a friend is easier for your mental health than just cutting them off altogether. Because it's hard for everyone to lose people. I think we can all understand that feeling of losing someone in your life. And maybe that's why people continue to follow their ex on social media. It's really hard to just cut the cord and cut someone out of your life, even if that's what you should do. So I just think that if you are friends with your ex, genuinely ask yourself, is this person your friend, or do you see them in a romantic way? And deep, deep down, if they saw you that way as well, you would start dating them. Because maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't think that that's a friend. Because I think of my guy friends. I don't want to date any of them, and none of them want to date me. If any of them came to me in a crazy world and they were like, Kelee, I see you in a romantic way. Do you want to date? I would say no. And if I said that to them, they would say no. None of us want to date each other. We are friends. I just think that once you have romantic relationships, this is how many people are, not everyone. Once you have romantic feelings for someone, it's very hard to just completely disregard all of them while you're still seeing them constantly. And it's very hard to, like I said, cut the cord. So you use this friendship as a way to make yourself feel better about not losing them.
It's like a compromise.
Yes. Yeah. You're compromising with yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. OP claims that this is not her situation because she said that her and her ex separated and didn't speak for a year while they healed. So maybe that is true. Maybe they did heal, and maybe they are just completely platonic. But also, if you're having him over and you're scared to tell your boyfriend, you don't tell your boyfriend, you keep it from him.
Yeah.
What's the reason for that? Because if you were actually genuinely just like straight up friends with him, wouldn't you talk to your boyfriend about that? And I guess like there's the other side of the coin where my best guy friend, if I hung out with him one-on-one, I wouldn't feel the need to tell anyone because we hang out all the time one-on-one. It's not like it's anything new. But I think the fact that he's your ex just changes things a little bit. And I think we can all admit that. And I don't think that's a bad thing to admit. Your relationship is different once you've dated someone. So I don't think your boyfriend is wrong to be a little bit hurt that you didn't tell him this. And also, if your boyfriend had the expectation that you were friends with your ex in a group setting, and then all of a sudden he's at your house and you're lying about it or being deceitful about it, he has the right to be upset. So that's very hard. I think that if you are completely platonic friends with him, maybe that's something you can explain to your boyfriend. I guess is the ultimatum. What's the ultimatum?
It's just choosing between
the two.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I don't necessarily think that's healthy either.
But I could see how the boyfriend would almost feel like he has no other option other than to like create this ultimatum, especially after the like one-on-one hangout. Like I can empathize with that. No, I don't think I've ever really had that experience, but I could just see where he's coming from. Where like, I would be a bit paranoid about that, I think, and probably hurt.
Yeah, I think so too. I would be very sad if my boyfriend was hanging out with his ex alone and not telling me, like choosing to not tell me, whether he considered her a friend or not.
Right.
I just think it would be more respectful to just be honest about everything that involves your romantic relationships.
Yeah. Even in my relationship, it's never really been like outright said, but I feel like certain things we communicate with each other every time, and it doesn't really like, for example, if one of us are like drinking, neither of us really like go overboard with drinking, but we just kind of always say like, oh yeah, like I'm like drinking. And cause I don't know, like if you do get like a little like buzzed or tipsy, like maybe you stop texting or your texting changes and like, you don't want to be like, what's going on? Like, are you okay? So there's just like certain things that like, it's not like we have to outright say we need to tell each other when we're drinking, but like, it's just like expected in a relationship that you're honest about stuff, even without the other person asking you about it. Like you just provide the information unprovoked.
Yeah.
And the hanging out with an ex is huge.
Yes.
Much bigger than just drinking alcohol or something like that. Yeah.
Yes. I think that's kind of what I was getting at when I was saying, like, sure, maybe if you're just hanging out with your guy best friend, you don't need to tell your boyfriend about it because it is just a friend. Like, to me, the way that I see my guy friends, they're literally just my friends. Like, it would be like if I was hanging out with Trish, if it comes up in conversation with your boyfriend, sure. But like, I just think it adds a different element that you dated this guy.
Yes.
So that's where the problem comes in. Because I guess, like, you don't have to tell your partner every single thing you do. You know, you don't have to tell them that you're going to the store. I mean, some people do that.
Yeah.
I typically do not do that when I'm talking to someone.
Right.
So, or dating someone. So I could see where OP could be coming from if she thought it just wasn't a big deal to not tell her boyfriend this. But I think that maybe she did know. I don't know. It's like, how can you not know that hanging out with your ex is a little bit could make your partner upset if you weren't honest about it.
Maybe we have another dummy on our hands.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe she's just so dumb and she thought that it wouldn't be a problem. And she's shocked that anyone could even care about this because he's just her best friend.
Yeah.
That is, you know, I'm really trying to be open-minded, but that is just so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, being actually friends with your ex and having a completely platonic relationship with no ulterior motives and no feelings that are different than someone that you're actually just friends with and never dated. Yeah. Like, how is that possible?
No.
But Jimmy was telling me it's possible. I don't know. I feel like that's one of those things where maybe I'm too close-minded. Like, I feel like I couldn't believe that without experiencing it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it would have to happen to me for me to be like, oh yeah, you can just completely ignore all your romantic feelings for someone that you were previously in love with and now just be friends with them. I mean, I don't know. I guess it also comes with age because people that were together for like 40 years and like co-parent children can be friends. I feel like that's pretty common.
Yeah. I feel like if I was 80 and had an ex-boyfriend, maybe I'd still be friends with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's probably not many other people that I hang out with, so I'll just hang out with my 80-year-old ex.
Oh my God, wait, now we're like talking, now we're on OP's side. We're like, yeah, you know what? You had a right to hang out with him. Who cares if your boyfriend's hurt? Wait, so there's an update.
Oh, yay.
Okay, update. So I read all the comments on this thread. A lot of them were just hating on me. Great. There's really no need for that. But to the people that gave me real advice, I took it. I do want to give an update regarding this. I had an open and honest conversation with my boyfriend about how I felt, and he tried his best to understand. Love that. We have somehow figured out a middle ground, like some of you mentioned. I proposed that since I can't cut off my ex completely, I'll still be seeing him for social events and parties and whatnot, but I will keep enough distance to not spend any alone time together, which might make my boyfriend feel uncomfortable. My boyfriend trusts me and he has agreed to this. He just needs some time for his anger to dissipate, which I'm going to give him. I also told him about having my ex over, and even though he was mad initially, he trusts me. And I just want to say it's never just black and white. I get that a lot of people have very specific ideas of how things should be, but maybe try to offer actual advice and try to look at different points of view. That's a good point too.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't have bad intentions. Like, there are just some people that maybe just don't see why something would hurt someone until they tell them that it would hurt them.
Right.
So not everyone's bad. Not everyone's a liar. Not everyone's a cheater. So maybe that's what's happening here. But it does seem like they had a healthy conversation about it and they were able to find a middle ground. Like she said, give each other space to deal with the immediate feelings that they're feeling in this moment and then continue to trust each other. Wow.
Yeah, not that it's bad, but it just seems like some people are more like focused on themselves in life than others. So
yeah.
Maybe she just did not see outside of herself.
Yeah, like maybe she didn't. She was like, yeah, he's coming over, but he's just my friend. Like, what's weird about that?
Yeah.
But in reality, that affects her boyfriend differently. Yeah. And that's something they need to talk about.
Right. Just to respect what he's comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Complicated. This is going to be real quick, I think.
Okay, cool.
How do I talk to my ex? Me and my ex broke up a year ago. It wasn't a big dramatic fight, but we just mutually agreed that we weren't able to give each other the attention we both needed. I really miss talking to her. Not in a romantic way, but I just miss our friendship. But it just feels so awkward. Any tips?
Don't.
Don't. Literally don't.
Don't. Moving on.
Once again, we've said it before. I'll say it again. Not everyone is meant to be in your life forever. This is one of the hardest lessons I've ever had to learn. Mm-hmm. You can have an amazing connection with someone and they're still not right for you. You can fall in love with someone and think that they're perfect, and then you break up and they're still not right for you. You can miss someone and still acknowledge that they're not your person, and you don't have to talk to them. It's okay to miss her, but it's not okay to go back to past relationships that didn't work out for very valid reasons and hope that something changes.
Right.
So yeah, don't. Case closed. I hope that somebody who listens to this needed to hear that.
Yeah, I know.
It's been 10 months now, and I still haven't forgotten my ex. I, 21 female, was in a relationship with a guy who I truly loved, but he wasn't serious and took me for granted. It's been more than a year now. I'm unable to forget him. It all started in April 2021. I met him on Instagram, and we started talking frequently. I was going through a rough patch in my life, and talking to him used to be the most beautiful part of my day. It was only chatting and not talking on the phone. He didn't like to talk on a call. I learned many things from him. We used to watch movies together, online, played chess, shared Spotify playlists, read anime. He used to send me poems, and I used to send him drawings. I fell in love with him. He was so intelligent and handsome. After July, he started ghosting me. He told me later that his ex-girlfriend came back into his life. We were still in touch, but stopped doing the things that we were doing earlier. I used to wait for his texts like crazy. In November 2021, we started talking again and started dating. I never felt like we were dating because he was always busy with I don't even know what. Later, in January 2022, I accepted that we weren't dating and maintained distance. He apologized, saying that he wasn't serious and there's a lot going on in his family, so he can't continue to be with me. To which I replied, I understand. I was in hella pain. I really loved him a lot. We sometimes used to talk on Snapchat, and I used to screen record all of our conversations because they were so precious to me. I had a whole collection of screenshots of every snap he sent me. I loved everything about him. We are still in touch, but we small talk on festivals only. Okay. I've deleted all his pictures and poems, but I'm unable to forget him and move on. I still cry thinking about him. I was a good student, but now I can't focus on studies. I do nothing all day. I have so many dreams to achieve about my career, but I can't do anything. I try pushing myself to get things done, but it doesn't last long. I feel like my life is fricked. Oh, man. Okay. I get the vibe that they were not dating in person. Do you feel like this was an online relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also it was only a few months.
Yeah.
Not to minimize your pain, but
yeah.
She's like, I love everything about him. Like, I don't know. It's only a few months.
Yeah, I feel like you don't actually know him. Oh, this is so hard because I feel like, yeah, like you said, it's only a few months. You don't really know someone in only a few months. The first few times you hang out with someone or talk to them, sometimes this lasts months, depending on how quickly a relationship moves, you only know the best parts of them.
Right.
So this is kind of why ghosting hurts so much. And situationships. Like when you're talking to a guy for only a few months or a girl and then it ends, you're kind of at the peak of that relationship. You didn't have time to learn about their flaws. You didn't have time to learn about half of their personality because it takes so long to get to know someone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So in a few months, you really can't know someone. You only know this very small part of them. So if that small part of them seems perfect for you, but your relationship doesn't work out, they weren't meant to be with you in life. And this is another thing that took me a long time to understand this and a long time to accept this, and it's really hard, but that's the reason why situationships and those people that you like that you never even date take you so much longer to get over than the guy you dated for 4 years. And it's like, I don't know, have you ever experienced that?
No. But I haven't had many short relationships, right. I feel like. So yeah, I don't really have a comparison, I feel like.
Yeah. I feel like anyone that's been in a situationship will understand that. Like I see so many TikToks about that and they're like, yeah, I dated a guy for 4 years and I dated a guy for 2 months and I cannot stop thinking about the guy for 2 months. It's because in a 4-year relationship, you learn everything that's wrong with them. You don't see them as this perfect person on a pedestal. You see them as an actual person person that you're on the same level as them, just like every other human on earth. But then when you're dating someone for 2 months, you see them as this like perfect person that can do no wrong and you love everything about them. That's because you only know the 10 best things about them, because you've only had time to learn the best things, and people present themselves in the best way for the first few months you get to know them. So I think that's kind of what's happening here. So she has only learned about his positive qualities and all the things that they bond over. But the fact that he ghosted you should show you that he's not perfect and he's not meant for you, because that shows that he doesn't respect you enough to just tell you the truth. So I also think that when you fall in love with someone or the idea of someone, it is quite possible that it will take more than 10 months to get over them. I feel like give yourself grace and give yourself time and just continue to try to meet new people if you want a relationship. And if you don't want a relationship, focus on yourself and all the things that you're passionate about in your life. Go and experience those things and put your energy and efforts there. And I also think reframing things in your mind, like every time you think about this ex of yours, think about a goal that you have and think about a way to achieve that goal. It's so much easier said than done, but you can control the things that you think about. So when you think back to this guy, stop thinking of him as a perfect person. Think of him as a person that you met and then he ghosted you, which is disrespectful. And now you're not with him.
Right.
So why would you want to be with someone that doesn't want you?
Yeah, give yourself the ick as much as you can.
Facts.
You know?
Yes. Give yourself
He's
the
a
ick.
loser. He sent you poems and then he ghosted you. Who does that? A loser.
A loser. A goddamn fool. Yes, give yourself the ick. Even if you have to lie to yourself, literally tell yourself the opposite of everything you like about him. You know, he's not meant to be with you, so who even cares? Tell yourself that he's mean and that he hates puppies and he hates anime. And you love anime. Why would you want someone that hates anime? You have to be done.
Yeah.
You have to reframe the relationship in your mind and also give yourself grace, because things do take time, but you deserve someone that doesn't want to drop you just because there's a lot going on in his family.
Yeah.
The person that's meant for you will want to keep you around even when things get hard.
I was going to say, I feel like that's kind of a cop-out.
Yeah.
And I know it's dependent on, like, the situation.
Yeah.
But I guess, like, personally speaking, like, if I was going through something hard with my family, I feel like having an extra support would be great. So I guess it's a new relationship, so it's different. You don't want to, like, burden someone, I guess. But I don't know. I always feel like that's kind of a cop-out to be like, I'm dealing with a lot of, like, other external stuff, and I don't have time for you. I don't know.
Yeah. And I feel like there's two sides of the coin. Like, if it's a new relationship and they're dealing with something like extremely serious, sure, like there are definitely things that if they happened in my family and like to someone that I love deeply, and I was talking to a guy for like 2 months or a month or however long they were talking, like I just wouldn't care about the guy at all. I'd be like, nothing matters more than my family. But I also think that that can be used as an excuse. And as soon as a guy tells you like, oh, sorry, I'm just dealing with a lot. Like, I'm super busy with work. Like, I can't give you what you need. You say, thank you so much for telling me, baby. Bye. I'll never see you again. I was going to say, see you later, but no, you won't see them later. Thank them right now for not giving you the time of day, because they're not the person that deserves you. It's so much easier said than done, but it's true. It's true. If a guy ever said to me, sorry, I've just been really busy at work, and okay, I'm an understanding person. I know that people do actually go through shit. Like, if you're an amazing person and you are actually going through a very hard time in your life and you told me straight up, hey, I am dealing with something. I truly cannot give you the energy that you deserve, and I don't want to waste your time. I'm trying to be honest without giving you too much detail. This is just what I'm going through. I'm so sorry. Like, I respect you and I wish you all the best, but at this time, like I said, I can't give you what you deserve. I would have so much respect for that person.
Yes.
Rather than someone just like leading you on and like giving you these like little breadcrumb excuses every once in a while, like, oh, sorry, I didn't text you back, like I was working, like I was doing this, like blah, blah, blah. Like, sure, that may be true, but everyone works. Everyone has a job. Everyone has a family. Everyone is tired. Everyone goes to the gym. If he really, really wanted to talk to you, he would. And this guy doesn't. So just tell yourself that. Give yourself the ick. Do anything you need to get the fuck over him, because he's not your person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can't draw and you can. Yuck.
Ugh. Oh my gosh. Just the fact that he would take his ex back.
Yep.
Please, we do not need someone that's entertaining an ex. They're an ex for a reason.
Amanda, please. Did you ever watch that?
Yes, of course.
I don't know why that came
Bring
into
in
my
the
head.
dancing lobsters. Oh my God. It makes me so sad that she said I loved everything about him.
I know.
Here's why you don't love everything about him. He ghosted you and he took his ex back.
Yes.
Do you love him? Do you love that for you?
Mm-mm.
Do you love a partner for yourself that is taking back their ex and ghosting you? Baby, no.
No, delete the screen recordings, delete everything. No.
So you don't love everything about
don't
him.
love him.
Okay. I'm sorry, OP. We're giving you the tough love.
Tough love.
I'm so sorry. It's so hard, but it's what you need.
Tough love is still love.
That is so true. Tough love is still love. I love that. Yes. Let's do one more and then a funny revenge story.
Okay. I love revenge. Shout out to last episode.
This post was deleted. Shit. Wait, I really want to. Oh, this was such a good one. It was my husband's ex-girlfriend from college sent him a wedding invitation. Oh my God, I'm going to try to see if they posted this somewhere else. This Reddit story was deleted, but I really want to read it. So I'm going to read it off of this news article.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so the title of the story is My Husband's Ex-Girlfriend from College Sent Him a Wedding Invitation. The tea.
I love it. The drama.
One Reddit user has been left perturbed by the actions of her husband's ex-girlfriend who invited him to her wedding. Why anyone would want their ex-partner at the wedding is beyond me. The user took to wedding shaming to share her story. She's been married to her husband for almost 8 years, and he dated his ex-girlfriend 10 years prior when they were still in college. I guess they ended on good terms, but it's not like they ever have talked since the breakup. I never met her, nor have I brought her up, so I was surprised to see her wedding invitation in the mail today. She's friends with him on Facebook, and although he's not active on there, I've tagged him in many posts over the years, so it's definitely obvious that we're married. What concerned the wife even more was that the wedding invitation was addressed only to her husband. I'm not sure what I'm even more peeved about, the fact that this ex decided to pop out of nowhere, or the fact that I'm not even addressed in the invite. To make matters worse, it's a destination wedding and we'd have to fly to Central America. I'm not a jealous type, and sure, people can be friends with their exes and end things amiably, but I definitely don't think we're going. Would you attend your husband's ex's wedding? Would you even invite your ex to a wedding?
That's wild.
This ex is seriously disturbed.
Yeah.
Please. She does not want your husband at her wedding.
No.
She's trying to prove a point.
Yes. It's a power move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She thinks it's a power move.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
She thinks it's a power move to send an invitation to your husband as if it would affect you. And also, if you're thinking about your ex-boyfriend's wife of 8 years, you probably shouldn't be marrying your husband. Because if you're even thinking about an ex from 10 years ago, what are you doing getting married?
Mm-hmm. I was going to say that. She's not trying to get him back because it's her wedding. She's with someone else. What is the motive here? It sounds like she's making stuff up in her head. She probably has a narrative in her head and she's like, I'm going to really I don't know, show him or show the wife or whatever. And I'm going to invite just my ex.
And in reality, it's you're embarrassing yourself.
Yes.
Why the fuck would you want your ex at your wedding?
And it sounds like the ex and current wife have not even given her a second thought in 10 years or 8 years or whatever.
She's trying to prove a point, but she's actually doing the opposite. Mm-hmm. She's trying to prove that she's so secure, she's fine, she's doing so well. Come and see how well I'm doing with my new boyfriend. Cool girl. Yeah, my new husband. Mm-hmm. And it's if you really had a great relationship, you wouldn't need to prove it to anyone.
That's true.
Also, the fact that she only addressed it to the husband when she knows that he's married and the ex probably knows the wife's name is just hilarious to me.
I know. It's so funny.
This just happened to a friend of mine. So this couple, they've been dating for 2 years. Everyone knows they're dating. They post on social media together. They've lived together for over a year. They're just it's completely clear that they're in a relationship. The guy's friend from college is getting married and got invited to their engagement party. This new fiance, I guess, just doesn't like the girl.
Oh my god.
So she obviously is the one handling the invitations to their engagement party. So she sends a invitation to my friend and only addresses the guy. And they literally live together. And it says XXX plus guest. Like it says name plus guest. Instead of just writing Kelee and Tricia, it says Kelee and guest. What? You're such a petty bitch and you're embarrassing yourself. Yes. You're literally embarrassing yourself.
Like, you know what you're doing, but you know that we know that you know what you're doing.
Yeah. It's like, who are you trying to prove a point to?
Yeah.
Like, do you not think that he's going to bring his girlfriend? Like, what other guest would he bring? You know he's going to bring his girlfriend. Right. So why would you write plus guest?
Yeah.
Like, I was, obviously this just annoyed my friend a little bit. Like, she was like, what was the reason? And I was like, the reason was she just wanted to be petty, but there's a very, very small chance that maybe she was just rushing when she was making the invitations and she just like didn't, I don't know. There's a very, very small chance that she didn't do it with bad intentions.
Yeah, maybe like multiple of the invitations were just plus guest, plus guest, plus guest. Like, just that's just how they did their invitations.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. So I was like, for your own mental health, like, you don't need to be sitting here being like, what a bitch. Like, she was so rude. She had bad intention. Because like in that, by doing that, like, she's winning. Like, she wanted to piss you off.
Yeah.
So even if it is a lie, it's going to make your life easier to tell yourself that, oh, it was a mistake. She didn't mean to do it. She wants me to go, but she was just rushing. It was her mom making the invitations and not her. Like, who knows?
True.
Be delusional. Tell yourself that whatever she did it with a good intention, and that will make yourself feel better, and who cares?
Yeah.
It stems from this idea that I heard a business mentor say in the past, like, when you get a no and a rejection, like when someone tells you no to something that you want, imagine that they do it with a smile on their face. So it sounds weird at first, but like when someone rejects you, imagine they do it with a smile on their face in the most positive way possible. So if you want a job and you apply to it and you don't get it, instead of taking it personally and saying, oh, they didn't like me in the interview, imagine that the recruiting officer did it with a smile on their face and they were like, I love Tricia, but I'm so sorry, no. And they think highly of you still. And the same thing in a relationship. Like, imagine that a guy rejects you. Imagine they do it with a smile and they still respect you as a person. Don't take it personally. It's just how it goes. It just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
But if you imagine them doing it with good intentions, it's only going to be easier on yourself. And you're never going to see them again. So whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. But it's going to make you feel better about yourself. Once again, be delusional.
Yeah,
but be
that's
delusional
a good idea.
in a positive way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like, maybe the people that are hiring, they say, sorry, we couldn't take you because we have to hire the person that's going to cure cancer instead. So it couldn't be you.
It couldn't be
because we owe the world this miracle.
So we just picked someone better. I think that was
maybe
not the interpretation. If you interpreted it like Tricia, maybe don't use that tactic.
Yeah, never mind. I'm like, yeah, great point. And then here's how I think you meant it. No, never mind.
I mean, if that makes you feel better, though.
In a delusional way, it does. Okay. Or it could, you know?
Yeah. I think as long as your delusions are helping yourself and not hurting anyone, be delusional.
Be delusional.
That's how I live my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, everyone loves me. Mm-hmm. I'm on a winning streak. I'm so lucky. And these are the things I tell myself. Wait, side note about being delusional, and I really think it helped me. Going back to the manifestation thing. So obviously they say like what you say to yourself matters. And like if you say, I'm so like ugly, I'm annoying, I don't look good, like you're going to start to believe that in the same way that if you tell yourself, I'm an amazing person, I'm worthy, you're going to prove it to yourself. So it's like that quote that's like, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Wow. I've never heard that.
Isn't that such a good quote?
Yeah.
Like if you think you can't, you can't, because that's what you believe about yourself. But if you think you can do anything. I love that quote.
I like that.
So same thing with your self-perception. So sometimes when I look into a mirror and, you know, maybe I just woke up and I'm really pale and my hair is dirty and maybe I'm sweaty and just look a little bit disgusting. And I look in the mirror and I'm like, holy fuck, I look so, and I'm about to say a negative word. Yeah, I'm about to say a negative word. I actually started doing this. I will literally be like, I am so pretty. I'll be like, I am gorgeous and I'm such a nice person and I'm a good friend. And so instead of saying this negative thing about myself, I've just like trained my mind to not say anything negative. And I'm like, delusional, but who is it hurting for me to look into the mirror and instead of me looking in the mirror in the morning being like, oh shit, like I look really ugly right now. I'm going to be like, what did you say?
I'm a gremlin.
It's like, who's that helping?
Yeah.
Absolutely no one. So when you look in the mirror, cool it with the negative self-talk, you know?
Yeah.
And then another thing, I'm just going off on a tangent. I feel very passionate about this. You can't tell. I took a yoga class and the teacher was like, she was really big on not talking negatively about yourself when you just make a simple mistake. So you know how sometimes when you forget something, you'll be like, I'm so dumb. It's like, you're not dumb. You just forgot your pencil. Or like, you just got the question wrong. You're not dumb.
Right.
And people will always say, they'll be like, I'm so annoying, but can you just like get me a cup of water? And it's like, it's not annoying. You're not annoying. So instead of prefacing your sentences with those negative things or using I'm so stupid as your response to like something that's very trivial, saying I'm so stupid is so irrelevant. Like, no, you're not stupid.
It's not a reflection of your intelligence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So instead of using these negative self-perceptions to make up for a mistake that you made, just say I made this mistake or just acknowledge that you forgot something or like whatever.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah. Don't use, oh, I'm so stupid as a reflection of these little trivial things. Like, because you're going to eventually start to believe it if you keep saying it over and over again.
And like, if it was like your friend who forgot something and they said, I forgot that, you wouldn't think to yourself, they're so stupid.
Exactly.
You would think they just forgot something. It just happened. Like, you wouldn't even think anything deeper than that. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And like,
so
I feel like it's even things like, I just remember recently I was making plans in a group chat and one of my friends read the hours on the restaurant's website wrong. Like, he thought it opened at 5, it opened at 4, or like the other way around or something like that. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so fucking stupid. I was like, no, you're not.
Like, that's so aggressive.
I know. I was like, you're not stupid just because you thought the restaurant opened at a different time. Like, you misread one number.
Yeah.
So it's a really small thing, but I'm like, you don't need to say you're stupid.
Yeah.
You just misread something. So just try not to use these negative self-perceptions in your daily life. I really think that being delusional in a positive way, it could help you.
Yeah, I know. I feel like sometimes I tell myself I'm annoying. I feel like that's a common thing.
Yeah.
Maybe just spin it to like, I'm so funny. Like, it's kind of relevant.
Yes.
It's still like along the same vein, but it's more positive. Just just catch yourself. I guess pick like a replacement word.
Exactly.
And like consistently use that one word. It might be easier instead of catching the negative thought and then trying to think of a positive word. Just maybe have like a go-to.
Yeah.
Like replacement.
Or if you're about to think something negative, be like, oh wait, no.
Yeah.
And then just replace it with whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to be beautiful, be like, I'm beautiful. And then you will be. Simple as that. It's crazy how life works. You just say it and then you are.
This morning, I FaceTimed my little sister like right when I woke up. And it was the first look that I got of myself. And I was like,
you were like, shit, I am so gorgeous.
Well, at first I was like, wow. And then I was like, you know what? My lips look good. And like, I was like, I'll take it. Like, I don't know. It made everything better. Even though I'm like, I don't love my hair. I'm like, my lips look good. And I'm like, that's good enough for me. Like, to think that I'm not ugly. So.
You're finding the positive.
Yes.
Even though all of it was positive.
It's small. Yes.
Yeah. Even though you couldn't see it in the moment.
Yes.
This one is the last story. It's just a revenge story about an ex-boyfriend and an ex-best friend. So, how I got revenge on my ex-boyfriend and ex-best friend. Oh, wait, this is suspected to be fake?
Liars.
Wait, should I? Anyone? Okay.
I mean, I would still love to hear it for the entertainment.
That's true. This story may or may not be fake. It's under investigation of being fake. We will enjoy it anyway. Okay. This happened a couple of years ago. I, 28 female, was dating Max, 29 male, for 5 years. We were full on together. We lived together, shared finances, had 2 dogs, etc. My best friend Amy, 28 female, lived 10 minutes away, so we were always with each other. We were pretty much the 3 musketeers. One day, I'm scrolling on Instagram, and I see my boyfriend in the background of a picture posted to our local bar's page. He was supposed to be at work, and I'd never been given a reason to not trust him, so I figured it was an older picture, as we were there a couple times a month. But when he got home, he was wearing the same blue button-up and jeans. I had a horrible feeling in my stomach, but I didn't say anything. That night, I went through his phone. Yeah, I know, but I don't care. We've always shared passwords, and I have never had an issue with using each other's phones. When I checked his messages, I saw a chain with someone named Jack. We didn't know a Jack, so I read through them, and my heart just breaks. I've known my best friend since we were in diapers. I know how she texts. But I checked the number just to be sure, and yep, they were talking behind my back. Not just talking, though. There were pictures and mentions of sexual acts that had happened. I spent the night crying and sending myself all of the screenshots and everything I could find. By morning, I realized I can't just confront them. I need to prepare, so I set out money aside. I tell him our fridge is broken, so I'm using some of our savings to fix it. We need a plumber for this or a handyman for that. All lies, but I needed a reason to pull money out of the account we both had access to. It took me 2 months, but I was able to pull enough out to put a deposit and pay a couple months in advance on a new apartment that I found that was closer to work and pet friendly. I was able to slowly move stuff there while he was at work. I told him I was doing some spring cleaning to clear out the clutter. In the meantime, I fucked with their heads. I'd mentioned things about each other that would cause drama, like telling Max that Amy had talked about a cute guy from work, or telling Amy that Max had mentioned marriage and kids with me. The day before I was leaving, I set my plan into motion. I knew where my best friend went for lunch most days of the week, so I watched and waited. When she arrived, I went in and pretended I didn't want to throttle her for breaking my trust and my heart. We sat down and chatted, and I slyly mentioned sex with Max. In their messages, she told him that she didn't want him to sleep with me. Apparently, she'd become quite possessive of my boyfriend. I made comments about how sore I was because we did it rough, just like I like it. She really went deep. How good he was at it. You name it, I mentioned it. Her face got redder and redder, and it was amazing to watch. I'd seen her react that way before, but I just never realized why. She'd always insist on watching late night movies with us or ask to sleep on our couch instead of going home, and she'd be mad when I had to say no, I just want privacy with my boyfriend. I just thought she was lonely or a little clingy, but I would never have imagined she didn't want to leave because she wanted to make sure we weren't having sex. Later that day, I go home and once again pretend that everything is normal, but I sit down on the couch with him and snuggle up to him while he watches TV. After about 20 minutes, I straddle him and ask how his day was and blah, blah, blah. Then I bring up that I ran into Amy at lunch, and you'll never guess who she was with. I told him how Amy was with Dave, her real-life coworker that has hung out with us multiple times, and how it's so cute that they're dating now. When I say he froze, I don't think he even breathed. He just sort of muttered, I didn't know she was dating someone. So I tell Max all about how I caught she and Dave kissing, and after Dave left to go back to work, Amy told me all about their amazing sex life. I've never seen him look so dejected before. That night, I asked that we do a phone-free night, which we do often so that we could be in our own bubble. I could tell that he was a little hesitant, but he turned off his phone and put it in a basket that we used for it. We watched a movie and cuddled on the couch, and he stayed stiff as a board for the majority of it before he relaxed enough to fall asleep on the couch. Once he was out, I grabbed his work phone and sent out a contactless-wide email about how I may be in a bad mood for the next couple of weeks because my mistress gave me the clap, and I changed the passcode on it and turned it off. I knew he wouldn't turn it on until he got to his work site that was 40 minutes away. As soon as he was out the door, I immediately packed my bags, important papers, and the dogs and left. I also unscrewed most light bulbs, took the batteries out of the remote, took the router plug in so he wouldn't have Wi-Fi, and cranked the AC up to 80. When I got to my new place, I sent Amy a text asking how my pussy tastes, and then I blocked them both. Then I posted screenshots to my Facebook and let everyone know how horrible people they are.
Oh my God. A mastermind.
I hope that's real.
I know.
That's so funny. Oh my God, that's so fucking funny.
That is months of work. Like,
yes. I feel like if I was in that situation and someone was cheating on me like that, I would hope that I would do something like that.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if I'm that clever, but
just like plan for months. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'd have to think of something good. Oh my God, that's so funny.
The light bulbs and like, what did she say? No Wi-Fi and stuff. That kills me.
It's just like the icing on the cake because he's going to get to work and not be able to use his work phone, but all of his coworkers are going to have this idea in their head that his mistress gave him an STD, and that's why he's in a bad mood. And then he's going to go home because he can't work that day without his phone or whatever. He'll go home after work and nothing's going to work. And he can't contact anyone because he's locked out of his phone and he doesn't have Wi-Fi for his computer. And none of the lights work and he can't watch TV. It's so funny. And now everyone they know is going to know their secret because she posted it on Facebook.
Imagine though, like, I can't. Imagine getting an email from a coworker That's just like that honest. Like,
yeah,
like I'm gonna be in a bad mood, you guys.
So sorry. I now got an STD from the girl that I was cheating on my wife with, or my girlfriend with.
Just wanting you guys all to know, like, full transparency here.
The coworkers would be like, what the hell is this man telling us?
I'm dead. And then, yeah, he'll probably get into work and be, like, upset with his phone. Like,
and they're all going to think, yeah, he was upset because of that.
I can't. I love that. I hope that's
funny.
Real.
I know, me too. I mean, I'm sorry she got cheated on, but that's genius.
Yes. Yeah.
So funny. I love it. Okay.
That's so satisfying, though. Like, if you were to get cheated on.
Oh my God, I know. Yeah. Just gonna write these down all in a bank of things we would do if we got cheated on. Yeah. Last episode, Erin and I were talking about what would we do if we walked in on ourselves getting cheated on, whatever. And we're like, we would do this. And like creating this whole plan, I was like, wait, we can't put this in. Mm-hmm. We can't tell people. But then we're like, okay, we'll leave it in just in case anyone of our future partners is watching this. They should should know that they can never mess with us.
Yeah, this is a warning.
Yes, if you're a cheater, just don't even cross us or anyone else for that matter. Just don't cheat. Okay. Well, that was it for today's episode. Wow, this is a good one.
Yeah, that was fun.
Ex drama. I'm glad I don't have much of it.
Same.
We hope you guys liked our episode. It was so much fun to film. That was a funny thing to end on too. So It's all good. It's all good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And nothing's that deep, and lie to yourself and be delusional. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.